Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And apparently one of the voice actors for one of the dwarves in Snow White says that the reason Disney didn't use dwarves is it would have been too hard to find 7 dwarf actors who can act.
Yes, who can act and act together. Yes. He literally said this.
I mean, you want to talk about throwing your own community under the wheels of the bus, right? I mean, we've got Peter Dinklage out there who his comments, a lot of people think his comments on that podcast were what swayed Disney to not put actual dwarf actors in the movie.
But his comments weren't even accurate. He said they were like living in a cave and they weren't.
Living in a cave? I'm like, no, they lived in a very nice cottage. Did you not see the movie Peter? Because
no.
It's only been out for like 80 freaking years. Anyway, let's talk about this. This is just another wrinkle to the Snow White drama. And again, this thing, it's vastly more entertaining to watch the drama and the circus around Snow White than the movie itself will probably be. And it's going to come and go and be forgotten in a couple of months.
The media is already starting to, oh, no, it's good. And apparently, it seems like from what they're saying, they took out a lot of the crap she was talking about at D23. But I think the damage is still already done.
Yeah, that's just it. And honestly, if she had just kept her mouth shut, and that's 90% of the damage is her.
I mean, it is possible if it's as good as the media keeps saying it is. Word of mouth might bring people to the theater and it might have a long tail because that's kind of what happened with Elemental. And It's very possible that could happen, or overseas, markets might do really well. So it's possible. Do I think it's likely? No. But is it a possibility? Yes. I'll admit that it's a possibility if it's good.
Let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, you'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
Sign up for the Substack, clownfishtv.substack.com. Get notified when we upload new videos. Lots of Snow White. God, there's so many Snow White videos.
I know, but it's every day. And this one, when I saw this, I was like, oh my God. When I saw what he was saying. Back to the Snow White doing well thing. Real quick before we move on to this, I want to say too, though, what's working against it is so many people want to boycott this movie because of the comments she made. If you're a Trump supporter, you probably want to boycott because what she said. People are boycotting. If you're pro-Israel, people are boycotting for pro-Palestine, et cetera, et cetera. There's so many boycotts. Oh, and then this. They're doing this big damage control push right now. And they had all these images. And remember, they were doing their red carpet premiere last night with only like photographers and selected people allowed and no interviews. One of the things they made sure they did at this event was they brought in children from the San Fernando and Malibu chapters of the Boys and Girls Club. And apparently they gave them a bunch of Disney princess outfits and Disney prince outfits for the movie. And then I'm assuming, I don't know this, but these kids come and they have a bunch of children's events. They all show up in the same dresses, same prince outfits, and they're just standing in the front. And then all these pictures of, here they're hugging the kids. And the kids just, look at how excited the kids are all in their outfits. I'm like, but I'm pretty sure that you gave them their all.
She looks real excited.
I know, but they all match. Yeah. Like if you're going to come to an event, you're not all going to have older kids in one dress, younger kids. If there's ones that aren't matching, they probably were people's kids that came on their own. But they're all matching. And if that's the case that they did this for a photo op, it's crap. And I hate feeling that way and I hate thinking that. But I also know how the machine works.
Yes.
And I think that's what they did. And it's really shit. I bet to those kids, they probably were very excited. And for them, I'm glad they got the opportunity. So I don't want to take anything away from those children because go them. That's awesome. And I'm sure they were very happy to be there. And I think that's cool they got to come. And I think it's cool they gave them dresses and prince outfits and they gave them all this stuff. I think that's amazing. But I also think they just did it for a photo op. So
I thought this was kind of funny. Aaron Sparrow posted this. Walt Disney Studios puts this up. No words, just Rachel Zegler. Aaron says no words because you had to gag her.
He's not wrong. I shared it too because I was like, not wrong.
Yeah.
No interviews. Why?
Yeah, because they don't know what she's going to say. They don't know what she's going to say. And they're trying to make it out like her and Gal Gadot are like besties. Not besties, but they're being very civil, more so than the Oscars. So they're definitely absorbing all of the feedback, the unsolicited feedback.
Right. But then, we can't have it, it's starting to go okay. People are starting to be like, okay, calming down. And then here comes Martin Klebba. So
yeah,
he just can't. So for those who don't know, a couple of days ago, he did an interview and it kind of started there. But then he takes it further.
Yeah. So he did an interview. It was the New York Post?
Yeah. No, but go back to the other article first, because he did some stuff with the Hollywood Reporter first, like a couple of days ago, about it before the event. He's like, this really isn't going to be a red carpet. He can't stop emphasizing how proud he is of this movie. It's going to be at the El Capitan Theater, which is cool, but it's basically going to be a pre-party, watch the movie, and that's it. There's not going to be a whole lot of hoopla of Disney's first effing movie they ever made because of all this controversy, and they're afraid of the blowback from different people in society.
Different people. Yeah, well, I love it how the media tried to spin it like it's because of the alt-right Nazis. But
they're still spinning it because of her skin tone.
It's not. That's not the real reason. Look, the real reason is politics in Zegler's mouth.
Yeah, well, I mean, people weren't happy too about her being, not white because after, all the stuff that they made about race bending and saying, well, because of culture, and then they turn around and make Disney's first princess not white when she's named Snow Flippin' White. That made people upset.
Snow
now, for
F.
me,
White.
Yes. For me, that wasn't as big a deal because, at this point I expect it. But then she just won't. She is just the wrong choice on so many levels, and she won't stop.
So, yeah, he's in the New York Post, and he said, when it comes to the animated part of it, I guess you could have left it with just doing the animals animated. Yeah,
because he said people were complaining about, and he said, but they were originally threatening to put animals in it instead.
Yeah, they were talking magical creatures, which I guess the CGI dwarves are magical. I guess they would be magical creature adjacent.
Well, they were talking originally about replacing them. But then Disney, and he also said, which I didn't put it in here, that they always planned on doing the dwarves in CGI. But then you see CGI Lilo and Stitch and CGI Stitch, and then you see the dwarves, and you're like, what the hell?
Yeah, there's definitely something going on. Then he went against. So this is what's crazy. So again, there's been all this controversy. A lot of dwarf actors, were shut out. They didn't get a part. There could have been at least 7 main actors, and then you would have had the stunt people and all that too. So it could have been 20 people employed, and these jobs are harder and harder to find.
And he was a stunt actor, I think, first.
Was he?
I think so.
Because the problem is that the reason there aren't more dwarf actors, little people actors in Hollywood is that Hollywood, in its quest to be politically correct and diverse and inclusive, has decided that every little person part should be replaced with a CGI stand-in or somebody
actor that they turned Hugh Grant in Willy Wonka.
Right. So, yeah, he went against the little people acting community, saying you could have tried to maybe find 7 little people, but you've also got to find 7 little people who could act and have good chemistry together. I don't know, other than Peter Dinklage or Warwick Davis, there's only a couple guys out there that could really pull this off. What the hell?
I know.
What the hell? It would have been fantastic if there were some folks out there that would have loved a break. And you didn't even give them that.
Right. I mean, you could have found new fantastic actors that aren't even getting a chance now.
And Warwick Davis, he got his start being stuffed inside an Ewok costume.
I know, and he was a kid.
Yeah, that's how he got his start, right? So it's
hard to Warwick Davis. I do like Warwick Davis. And
Warwick Davis is cool. So. I think he's a cool guy. I think they really did him dirty with Willow.
Yeah.
And then they wound up scrapping it all together. But when asked why other little people weren't the voices of the dwarves, because they could have at least had little people doing the dwarves.
He's the only one. He plays Grumpy.
They were welcome to audition for the voiceover. If they decided not to, that's their right.
I mean, that's a valid point, though. But they were probably protesting at that point because at this point, you're no longer, casting live action actors. You want CGI ones. And they probably did boycott. So, I mean, to be fair, that's a very fair point on his behalf. I'm not going to, say that isn't, because that is fair.
Then he continued, but I didn't look at it like that. I was like, look, if it's going to be CG, then they're looking at me just as an actor. They're just giving me the opportunity. I was one of the 7 that got to be a voice of one of the most iconic franchises ever. So that's why I did. Well, yeah, they paid me.
Yeah, but he also seemingly owes Disney because they feed him.
Yeah, because he was in Pirates of the Caribbean, right? So, and Disney does do this. They work with a lot of actors that they've worked with before. But he said, I was like, the people are great, and Disney's been great to me with Pirates of the Caribbean. So I couldn't turn it down, playing me basically Grumpy. I'm not mad at Disney. Disney, like I said, they're the ones who fed me and they're the ones who allowed me to have the life I've had. So he's probably in like Flynn, like Disney definitely has certain like favorite actors, and they treat them very well. They do. And they're kind of like the spokespeople for Disney. And we know, I'm thinking like John Stamos is definitely one of them. And, these are the people that are kind of in like Flynn. This guy might be too. So yeah, he's not going to throw them on the bus, but he threw the entire Little People acting community
I know
on the bus. That there's not 7 of you that are good enough to be in this crappy movie.
He literally said, "Don't bite the hand that feeds you." I get where he's coming from to the level of, get yours. Because I think what he's thinking is, as long as I play ball, other studios are going to see that and they're going to be like, "Oh, Martin plays ball," and things like that. And he goes to bat for us and everything else. So if we need to call somebody up, an actor with dwarfism, call him. So in one way, I do think that was kind of on his part smart. He's doing like a Peter Dinklage, and I mean, you got to do what you got to do, right? But at the same time, he just threw everybody else under the bus, and is out there defending Disney now. So he's scoring points with Hollywood, which will get him more jobs, but he's going to piss off everybody else in this community. But they're not the ones that pay him.
Well, that's just it. I mean, does he care? Like, he got his, right? But the thing is that because Hollywood keeps doing this and they think it's diverse and inclusive to do this, there are so many actors that will never get discovered. So for him to be like, yeah, there aren't even 7 of us to do it, I'm like, there could have been.
Yeah, and the thing is, they've had major projects lately that would have had lots of parts. Little people actors with dwarfism, whatever they prefer to be called. And they chose to either replace it with CGI or put Hugh Grant in or whatever. And they've cost these people jobs. And it's like they keep trying, like you said, out of political correctness, they're excluding these people, in the name of, we don't want to be like stereotyping. But you stereotype anyway, so what difference does it make?
Yeah, I know, right? God, it's just absolutely insane. And like Disney's terrified now of the backlash. I don't know. I want to be clear. I do not know how the movie is. Obviously, I haven't seen it. They didn't invite us to the premiere.
No, but jokingly, people said about that, they don't invite you to see it early. I said, no, they used to, though. They used to get invited to premieres. A true story. We used to get invited to premieres all the time. Problem is, we live on the other side of the country, and it's very expensive to fly the whole way out to California and stay in a hotel and everything else to go see a movie premiere. Plus, we would have had to take time off of our work to go do it when we were doing Disney blogs and stuff. So we didn't go, but we were invited. That, of course, stopped and now they won't definitely give us early screeners. They're too afraid of what we're going to say. We're not predictably, positive enough for them.
Predictably positive. We actually do get invites, but it's usually like.
Oh, we still do?
Yeah, we do, but I'm like,
I didn't know we still did.
Not for Disney, but other studios. But it's in California. I'm not flying to California to go see your shitty movie.
No, they're paying for us to come out.
Yeah,
and watch
they're not.
They're basically different.
Yeah, they're not. They're like, oh, you get yourself out here, and we'll let you ask somebody 3 questions or something, and you get your YouTube video.
I didn't know we were still getting invited, but I knew we used to all the time.
I just kind of toss them at this point because I'm like, what is the purpose of spending thousands of dollars to go see some shitty movie and then have to say nice things about it and put a YouTube video up interviewing somebody nobody cares about to get like 500 views on that? Because I've seen these outlets. I've seen these outlets do it. Like, they're supposed to be these huge outlets with like millions of followers. And they put these videos up like, I reviewed so-and-so from this movie. And actually the person might actually be a bigger, like, I think it was Michael Keaton, actually. It was Beetlejuice 2. And it was one outlet that was pretty sizable and they had like 2,000 views on it. And I'm like, that's Michael Keaton. It's Beetlejuice 2. Like, you should have gotten more, but no, because everybody's posting the same thing.
I'd be like, hey, fellow Yinzer, kind of situation.
right.
But yeah, okay, I stand corrected. I didn't know we were still getting invited. Oh, well.
No.
I didn't even know. You didn't
just
tell
not
me.
to Disney. Well, I just gave up after a while because I'm like, there's no point in even doing it. Because
Anyway.
Are we going to wrap this up?
Yeah, I just want to say real quick, it might be good. And people in some of these outlets, a handful, are saying it's good. I think the embargo's up, so we'll start probably seeing Rotten Tomatoes scores soon. But it might work to their advantage if it is good, and they took out the dumb stuff Zegler was talking about. They might get people from word of mouth, and they might have a long tail, which has happened before, like Elemental. But I just think there's so much animosity towards it and towards Zegler and towards Disney's behavior that I just don't know how it's going to do.
Yeah. So let's wrap this up, guys. We'll see. We got lots of videos for the next week or so,
pretty
I'm
much.
sure. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.